Now's the time.
Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to Pretty Good Cooking.
Pretty good.
Tonight on the show, I'm going to teach you how to make Hungarian beans, or something like that. This is a recipe that's based off a Savour recipe. I think that Savour, if I'm saying that right, which I'm probably not, I think they do fancy recipes. A lot of our recent episodes, we've been focusing on, something from nothing recipes, stuff you got lying around the house. This recipe, on the other hand, I'm very surprised if you have some of these ingredients on hand. So, is it going to be useful? Has PGC ever attempted to be useful? These are the questions that will not be answered on tonight's show. This is a beans recipe and we're starting from dry beans, which means you need to soak them for some time. I actually soaked my beans for almost 24 hours. And I believe that these are, they're either navy beans or northern beans. So I will refer to them as white beans. So there, I soaked them in salt water and they've softened up considerably. We can just drain off that water. I'm using my hand. There's a little liquid in there, that's just fine. All right, so the two ingredients that I doubt that you have, one is lard, and here's our lard, and the other is a ham hock. This is a smoked pork ham hock. This is what it looks like. The ham hock, or pork hock, and make sure that you say pork and hock very separately and don't slur them together. This is the piece of the pig that comes between the leg and the hoof. So it's a pig ankle, but it's kind of meaty. It's a meaty ankle. So in some ways it's a pig cankle, or if you'd like, a pankle. You can find these in the store. Usually it's in the ham section, but it's pretty much exclusively used for making beans because there's lots of good flavor in there. You cook it for a long time, and I think Germans sometimes eat pork hock. When I googled recipes, some German things came up. At any rate, we'll be using that to flavor our beans, and then at the end we'll be mixing in a few more ingredients, kind of make it like a stew or a soup. So, first step tonight, or I guess this afternoon, is to pour yourself a beverage. We have a very special beverage today, which I'm excited to try. An Urban Artifact Kaleidoscope. A pineapple, orange, and guava Midwest fruit tart beer. I'm excited for this. I hear it's a good one. I'm imagining it'll taste like a tropical drink. That's delightful. Cheers. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's begin cooking. So, in addition to our animal products, we're gonna add some vegetable products in order to make this good food. I forgot to mention that both of these products are locally sourced from Holcomb's Haven Homestead, the Triple H. I love those people. I love their animals. They treat their animals so nicely, and also their animals are very delicious. So these are, somewhat specialty things that it's a little bit harder to get, but this should be super high quality. Very excited for it. Shout out to Jamie and Jimbo. And when I told Jimbo when I was planning on doing these, he said that his dad used to make ham and beans, and his dad's name is Willard. So this recipe's in honor of Willard. All right, let's get to chopping vegetables. So these are gonna look like, very familiar vegetables, the usual suspects here. We're gonna mince them more finely than we might otherwise, because I think that will be better for the texture of this stew. I'm hoping some of them break down a little bit. This is 2 ribs of celery, minced finely. We've got a few carrots here. We've got 2.5 carrots. This is because I used half a carrot for something or other, so I figured I would just pop that in as well. We're not gonna peel them today. I don't really think peeling makes a whole lot of difference anyways, but no need to do that today. So we will quarter the carrot and chop it up small. I gotta do that with 2 more carrots. So the recipe that I'm loosely following calls for parsnips. And if I were to deceive you, viewer, I could just tell you these are parsnips. But they are not in fact parsnips. I don't have parsnips. These are white carrots. So that's what I'm selling because it's what I have. I don't be keeping parsnips. Parsnips would give it a slightly different flavor, but ultimately these beans are gonna taste like smoked ham hock. So I wouldn't worry about it too terribly much. Next up is a whole yellow onion. We start by taking the whole one and cutting it into 2 halves of an onion. Peel it as if you've done it before. And this we will mince finely. All right, that's 1 half. I'm gonna do the other half. And finally, we will add several cloves of garlic from this nice purple garlic that I just found in a regular store. I was delighted at how nice it looked. All right, so I'm gonna put in 5-ish cloves. You can see they're of different sizes. I'm gonna smash those and mince them up. This is kind of a lot of vegetables, but you know, if you're just eating a pot of beans, you should try to eat some vegetables too. Vinny, hey Vinny. Vinny, why do you be barking? Alright, there's our garlic. I've got no room to smash them, so I'm just gonna chop them. I've run out of room on my choppy board. I'm really struggling because there's just no room for me to chop this garlic. Alright, there's our veggies. Done. Alright, so now we heat the lard in this Dutch oven. So we'll warm it up over medium heat. We're gonna use a 1/4 cup of lard. That's a lot of lard, but it's also a lot of beans. So that's not perfect, but I think the volume will work out. Worst case, these beans will just taste a little bit better. Heat up the lard, heat up the lard. Well, we'll be back in a second after this melts. Okay, so our lard's completely melted. On medium heat, we're gonna put all these veggies in. Lots of veggies. And if you wanted to have the finesse of like cooking them at different times, you could. But remember, you're slow cooking this for a long time. So like, ultimately the texture is not gonna change all that much. You basically just wanna saute them for like 5 to 10 minutes with the idea that you'll like open up some of the flavors. These are aromatics after all. So give that a saute, 5-10 minutes. We'll be back. Show you what it looks like. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes. Here's our veggies. Take a look. Got a little bit of brown on some of them, that's fine. Now we're gonna add the beans. The beans. Here they are. And in they go. Big beans. It's about 1 pound of beans. Give them a stir. Okay. Add our bay leaves. That was easy. And now we add water. Now you could use stock if you want, but you don't need to. And that's because we're putting this big old ham hock in there. There's gonna be plenty of flavor in this. And also, bean-based recipes are supposed to be cheap because you're making beans. So, you know, don't put too much shit in it. Don't put too much stuff in it. I'm trying to be family friendly on this one. I don't know why. It's tough to do. We're gonna put 12 cups of water, which is pretty much gonna fill this whole thing up. All right, there it is. And last but certainly not least, gotta add that ham hock. All right, here's our hock. I'm gonna chop out of its container. And this is very, very fresh. This pig was processed like 2 weeks ago or something. Oh, it smells so good. Holy moly, smell this.
Oh man.
Oh man, that smells so good. And we're gonna cook it to the point that we can shred some of that meat into the beans. Oh man, I'm really excited. So here's our very high quality ham hock that we're gonna just nestle into the beans. And you can work it down. You want it fully submerged if possible. We're gonna bring this up to a simmer. We're gonna cook it for about 2 hours, maybe even longer. So once this comes up to heat, we're gonna cook it almost all the way covered. We're gonna like angle a pot lid like this. See, we're leaving just a little room. And yeah, we'll see you in a couple hours. Hey, so it's been a couple hours. Let's check on the beans. They're looking mighty fine. You can see that a lot of the liquid is reduced. That's part of the goal. And then our ham hock is starting to, oh, it's just totally falling apart. And that's great because we're gonna shred that meat, put it back in the soup. This is what's left of the hock. And you can pull off the skin, I guess, but honestly, it's so tender now, I think we can just shred it. Look at that. I can literally just press it with a spoon. That's awesome. Let's give that a taste, see what it tastes like. Mmm. It's so good. It reminds me of something. I couldn't tell you what though, because I don't remember. It's kind of blowing my mind that I can just shred this with a spoon. It was a big old hock before, you know? Crazy. So we'll set the bones aside, and so the meat goes back in. Oh, that nice smoked meat. Real tender now. Just go ahead and put that on in. There's a familiar smell to all of this, and I can't place what it is. It just smells real familiar. Oh, and by the way, you can remove the bay leaves at this point. Don't need those anymore. Okay, now we need to finish this up, and so we're gonna thicken it with a roux. And so we're gonna go back to the lard bucket, and we're gonna put in another 1/4 cup of lard. And the lard's much softer now because it's been sitting out. So we're gonna pop that in this pan, side pan, get that heated up. All right, so once that's melted, we're gonna mix in flour to make a roux. Then we're gonna add some other things. Then the thing that makes this Hungarian is that it has paprika in it. Any dish has paprika, you can call it Hungarian. It's a law in Hungary, what I've heard. I'm so hungry. Also, Courtney made cornbread. Check it out. Yeah, buddy. Looking fine. Look at that. Feel impatient, so I'm just gonna dump the flour in. Look at that. Wow, holy moly, look at this. So that's equal parts flour and lard. I feel like there's some kind of metaphor there, but I don't know what it is. Look at that. That looks tasty. We're gonna put that in the soup for sure. Stir it up so there's no lumps. And we're gonna add a little salt. Big pinch of salt and some pep. And some paprika. You should use Hungarian sweet paprika. I ain't got that though, so just give it one of these guys. Look at that, now it's red. Cool. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright, we're gonna put a half cup of sour cream into the roux. And you may say, that's a lot of sour cream. And you would be right. It is. It really is. Gotta keep that heat low. We're in that home stretch. Nearing the finish line, rounding third and headed to home. So mix it on up. This is like almost like a variant bechamel with paprika. This is pretty crazy. Look at this. This is nuts.
Whoa, that is nuts.
Okay, once this is all incorporated, this is gonna be crazy. I'm gonna dump that whole thing in the soup. Okay? And then you mix the whole damn thing together. And it's gonna get real thick. Oh mama, look at this. Look at this soup. This is something special, I think. Some of the comments on this recipe said it was too thick. No such thing. Wow. So we're supposed to let this heat about another 5 minutes or so, which is probably just about enough time for the cornbread to cool down. So there you go. We'll be back in a couple minutes here. Pretty dang excited for this. Alright, in a few minutes, time to eat. Alright, check out how thick this is. Come here. This is so thick. It's very different from like southern ham hock beans. This is thick and velvety. Look at that. That is beautiful. I think we made a really special soup tonight, guys. Guys and gals. I'm gonna eat all this. Alright, so there's our soup. I splashed on the saucer, of course, like I always do. Now, I read something that said feedback on this recipe is that it needed a little extra something. So I'll give it a try first, without any special somethings. Hotter and blazes, of course. Now that's delicious. It's a subtle flavor. It has like the warmth and a little bit of the smokiness from the ham hock. Very rich, very creamy. But the feedback that I got I read in the comments is it needs some acid. Now we're gonna pump up the party with some homemade ramp vinegar. This is some real bougie shit right here. I mean stuff. A couple splashes of vinegar on this. Or, of course, you could use hot sauce, which we'll probably do that too. I'm gonna stir that in, see if that elevates it. Holy moly. Definitely finish that with some vinegar. That is incredible. I can't wait to just eat like 9 bowls of this. Wow. This is it's like basically ham and bean soup, but we have elevated it. Thank you, Savour, for this not Hungarian recipe. Oh, you can garnish it with more paprika too. I'll probably do that for the photo. This is so good. I feel like you could impress people with this bean soup, and that says something. Like most people are like, bean soup. This is so good. Holy moly. So I guess that's how you do it. And you would like some bean soup too. Everyone stay safe out there. Eat some bean soup. Support your local farmers. See you next time.